Hello, so welcome to this first Let's Play for COMP3218, Game Design and Development at the University of Southampton. My name's Dave Millard, I'm a lecturer on the course, and I'm here with...
Ioan Daniel Malinov, and I'm a research fellow working with Dave on the game design course.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've got a couple of games to look at in today's Let's Play. Johan, do you want to say a little bit about what we asked the students to do?
Yeah, of course. So we basically asked them to create a small prototype game with a tutorial based on a clear core dynamic.
Great. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our first game.
Yeah.
Right, so the first game up is called Illuminate.
Okay.
Here we go. So we
play.
Got a menu screen. Aha! We have the Mothman. So it looks like we've got some instructions down the bottom. They're sort of white on yellow, which is a bit unfortunate, but they're clear enough.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they've done the classic Mario thing, start you off on the left of the screen, so you know you've got to go to the right, and they've given you a pit to jump over with space and a nice skull telling you that would be bad news to go down there.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, and then double jump. You can
double jump. Yep.
Yeah.
So and you've got a
so I can see that my.
So did you play this in the lab at all? Because I have to say, when I first played it, I didn't notice that. So you've done well to notice that, right?
Yeah. Maybe because there's not a lot of distractions around me, and my eyes are. I mean, yeah, it was. In my case, I was looking at my character, and I immediately saw. And it also kind of makes sense for the water too.
Yes, yeah. So that's quite nice, right? So is that another? So you've got another death's head there saying "Don't fall in the water."
Okay, I can.
So is that? So that thing you just went past, that's open, right? That door down the bottom.
Oh, that doesn't let you jump right now. So I'm trying to jump and I can't. So that's I guess a nice bit of level design where.
Oh, a little sticky web. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is just I think part of the background.
So I have to say, I thought this when you hit the first one, because if you stay where you are, look in the top right hand side you've got a door that's closed, and in the bottom left hand side you've got a door that's open.
Is it?
They're very similar, aren't they?
Oh yeah, that's true.
So and then if you
that's a bit of a.
And I think up in the top left hand corner you've got like a little row of icons.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's showing you which of the sort of braziers is lit.
Yeah, I see. So if
so if you go under there. So I have to say I like the conceit of this, the idea that you've got a flame, and if you go through certain things, the flame goes out. That's quite nice.
Yeah, that's true. So I still cannot get there.
So
there's one.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. I cannot jump here, so I have to double jump from here.
Jump across, yeah, nice.
So yeah, for now, the way that they introduce mechanics through the level design is really nice.
It is actually, isn't it? There's that thing you've picked up. I'm not sure what it is, but it's filled in one of the three things at the top. So I'm guessing you have to pick all of them to complete the level.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
I kinda cannot jump now. So what's this?
Oh, there's
Oh, okay. So, so I assume
that
if
one's
I
got a death's head, but but not the other one. So you can't jump because it's got that little bit of spider's web on the top.
Yeah. Oh, why can I?
And that looks like a respawn point as well, which is quite good.
Yeah, that was.
So you didn't have to go back to the beginning. So the problem is that you. So what's that thing above your head? That
you mean this?
Flower on it, or... Yeah. Can you bang your
Yeah.
head on it, or you touch it, or?
I'm trying to. Oh, yeah. Okay.
There you go. So now you can get the flames and come back underneath.
Oh. Okay, now.
You'd think a moth could fly.
Yeah,
There
that's
we go.
true.
And
So
that's
that's
the
the
last
last.
one. So, question is, you're still missing one of the golden blobs. Is that a button over to your left, or is that?
Oh, yeah, this here, and that should have opened probably the.
That one up there. Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, so a nice kind of little platform puzzler.
Oh yeah. Level cleared. Incoming soon. Yeah. Yeah, that was.
Very good. Okay. So I think that's so we've got one level of play, but that's fine. We only asked for a prototype, and there's some nice
Yeah.
stuff in there. Should we go through the marks criteria and see
Yeah.
where we get to? So first up is presentation. Would you describe this as professional, workable, impactful?
I mean, I mean, yeah, I really like how it, the whole graphic mode, and it feels cohesive.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, I think it's kind of I wouldn't quite put up the impactful level, but I think it's kind of pretty much there for the professional. Complete and effective is what we're asking for. We've got a bit of sound design. We've got some music. I can't hear any sound effects. Can you hear any sound effects?
Yeah, there are. It's again because we've put it very quiet. It's there. Let me. Yeah, so there's music, and there is sound effects. For example, when I.
I hit little.
Yeah. Start a fire. I can hear it crackling.
Yeah. So I think that's what we would call a good level. So complete and effective. It's all there.
When you die as well, there's I think a sound. Although it's very quiet again because we've.
Yeah.
And.
So the other part of presentation is the information design.
This here.
So. I think that that's not bad. There's quite a lot to like. So you've got the clear stuff at the top left-hand corner, showing you how many things are lit. You've got the number of coins. That's very clear. So that's all good. It's a little bit small, maybe. I don't know whether that's a scaling issue, whether it's designed that way.
It's definitely because I'm using it on a bigger screen than 1080p.
Okay.
So I'm sure it's better on a smaller screen.
So the only two things I would say are that the lamp is very good, a good indicator of whether or not it's lit or not. You can see it quite clearly. But although you noticed it, I didn't notice it the first time. I do wonder whether there should be a bit more emphasis when it comes on and when it goes off, like a sort of hiss and some steam or something, kind of a flaring into light.
I mean, there might be. Let me try and go to some water and see.
Just goes out, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So I think there's a sort of missed opportunity to make a little bit more of that. And then there's the issue with the doors. I think it's quite hard to see which doors are open and which are closed. But other than that, I don't think that's enough for me to say that the presentation should be less than that kind of professional level. I think they've done a nice job. It's just those are the things that you'd have to do, I think, to elevate it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the next criteria is meaningful play, which is kind of mechanics, controls, and bugs. Would you describe it as playable or engaging or fun? Where would you pitch it?
Yeah, the controls are very responsive. There are, a few small Unity things with the platforms, which every game basically has, but it feels really nice. The controls, intuitive, And simple,
Yeah.
it's not like 100 buttons that you need
Yeah.
to remember. It's basically just jump and walk.
And it seems engaging. So you play it, and I know there's only the one level. There's sort of once you've gone through it, you've done it. But in terms of figuring out how to reach the braziers, how to navigate the level, avoid the all of that seems to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
It's
again I'd put that at the probably at the good level, so engaging. So um, the only thing is, if we're talking about mechanics, one of the things we're looking at is sort of multiple mechanics. So what are the mechanics we've got here? We've got jumping and double jumping.
yeah.
We've got
We,
the lighting the fires, the braziers, and we've got the buttons.
the
Um,
buttons. Then I guess the sticky thing that, or the
oh, and the sticky
cobweb,
things. Yeah, I
and you
think that's
cannot
probably
jump.
sufficient. That's sufficient complexity, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, it's uh, yeah, quite a few separate
Yeah,
mechanics, I would say.
and I don't think we spotted any bugs either, have we?
Uh, Nothing major, yeah. Maybe sometimes it doesn't double jump, or it feels like it didn't double jump, but that's like not
Yeah,
really
yeah. I mean, watching you play, it looks fairly
responsive,
tight
and
controls. Yeah.
yeah.
So okay, so I think all of those things are at the kind of at the good level, an engaging game. So that's hard. That's quite hard to achieve. So that's good. Let's move on to the level design.
Yeah.
So here we're looking firstly at the goals, risks, and rewards that are present in the space. Have we got examples where there are different goals, risks, and rewards, perhaps in terms of paths that you can take, for example, or
Oh yeah, that's the difficult part in these games. I mean, you could argue, for example, or
so one of the problems they've got, I think, is that there's no exit from the level, right? So the level exits automatically when you pick up the third coin, or I'm not quite sure what it is.
well, no,
Golden
you
thread.
do have
Oh,
to
there is an
go
exit there.
through,
Ah, but
yeah,
does
through
the
here.
exit open now or not?
It only opens if I put if I manage to get to all of these. So if I manage to fill this bar
Ah,
here, but this
so
is
if you
not
fill,
necessary. Oh
so if
yeah,
you
so this
fill,
is like uh,
yeah,
a risk thing. So I don't need to pick up
yeah.
those things.
So I think that's my question is, so what I was going to say is you have to collect all three things for the level to open. But
No,
is
yeah,
that the case, or actually is it that you have to light all the sort of braziers and then you can exit the level?
that's the I have to light them all up, and those
Let's have a
are
look. Yeah.
optional.
So let's have a look. So if you open up
Oh,
the, so you've got one last one to open somewhere in there.
yeah, that one
Ah, okay. And then is that open?
should be. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Okay. You got level cleared. So there is an element of risk reward then, in that you can decide to leave the coins in order to end the level and exit quickly. So obviously with one level you don't necessarily see the compound effect of that. So perhaps it's a little bit less obvious, but it is there definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that any of the coins are particularly challenging to get.
I mean, for
Because
example, this
you've got to pretty much go around the whole level just to open up the.
this one is maybe a bit challenging because you have to jump like that
but there's
a bit.
no risk, right? There's no.
Yeah.
So I think
Well,
what
I
they've got
think
here.
the other one though is maybe a bit more, because you can barely see it, and you might
There.
think, oh, I'll
Yeah.
die if I come here. But once you, so
So
there is
you've got to
something.
get across that one. Yeah.
Yeah. But I see what you
Okay.
mean. Yep.
So if we treat the other two as being the easy ones, then, and this is the one.
That's a bit harder, yeah.
But is that the coin, or is that's the brazier? That's you need to get the brazier.
With this here, that was one of the golden coins.
Where was the coin
collectibles.
though?
Like very at the bottom here, barely.
Oh, down there. Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I count that. So I think the mistake they've done. So if you jump over to the left, so this one over here, you have to navigate that cavern and open up that switch in order to get the last flame.
Yeah.
If they put the coin there, then I think it would have been more successful. Whereas
there
I
was
think kind of they're relying on a kind of a little bit of deception here.
Yeah, that's true. But even then, when I was playing this and I was here, I was thinking to myself, do I risk falling in this and losing a life just to see if I get the golden thing or not? So I was thinking, it did feel like maybe that's a small choice, or like, should I try to do it? So it's not nothing, but I guess it could be better.
So if we look at the criteria, a pass would be a limited set of goals, risks, and rewards, and a satisfactory would be coherent, and good would be clear and coherent. I think. Okay, so I think that it's if they'd have put the coin in the hard to reach place, I think then I would say that actually you only had one kind of example of it, but it would be clear and coherent or verging on that. Because they've got the brazier there and you need to light that to exit anyway, actually, although there is the structure here for you to give goal, risk, rewards, I don't think that necessarily comes through in the design. So that feels to me that it might be more at the satisfactory level, or even halfway between satisfactory and pass.
Yeah, I think that's.
I mean, I suppose a part of it is the goal. So again, it's if you think about the clarity of the goal, you know, how do we know what we're doing? So obviously we've played a lot of games over the years, so we're kind of used to the idea that, you know, bright yellow shiny things, you go and pick those up, and your goal is to exit the level. But it's not necessarily clear. That's not necessarily set out to you at the beginning, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think this is kind of, I think that because it's only it's kind of it's more that I think it's slightly better than limited, right? Because I think there's the potential here to put more in here, right? But it's just not quite realized. So perhaps halfway between the two.
That sounds fair.
And pacing. So there's only one level. So that means that they've got to have pacing within the level. How do you feel about that? It does feel like it's sort of a level of two halves, right? You've got the start over here, which is a bit simpler.
Starts simple, you know, introducing the mechanics of double jump, of your flame going out, and lighting the fires, and then okay, there's a pit and some water and a bit more, a few harder jumps, and then you have the cobweb here, and then an even bigger part of the level where you have much, you know, more platforming, more like maybe difficult, you know. Here I really like this because it makes you think, I have to jump from here and not from here, because that's not possible. So it definitely, there is spacing, and it is
I mean, the tension is relatively limited in that you don't feel unsafe. I do wonder whether they needed to have a final part here where actually there was more of a penalty if you fell, basically. because the only bit that feels difficult is this bit you're on down the bottom, right? That's that's mechanically challenging.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that it rises over time. So pass would be that it somewhat rises over time, satisfactory that it clearly rises over time, and good that it rises over time in a coherent pattern. And I kind of, I think
mean,
it's
it does
probably
feel...
more of the satisfactory level that it rises gradually, but you're kind of
I mean,
lacking, you know.
maybe in between, because it does feel like they've thought about, how to introduce and make introduce mechanics and different things slowly and not everything at the same
Yeah.
time. So
So,
they've clearly...
that comes under the tutorial, right? So,
Oh yeah.
So I agree with you. I think they've done a very good job of introducing the things gradually and doing that in a nice way using iconography and all the rest of it. But in terms of the kind of think of it like the difficulty of the game, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right? I kind of feel like I think for me, I think I'd say it's satisfactory. I think it does clearly rise over time. They've clearly got that bit down the bottom there, which is the most challenging bit. But it just feels like it could become even more perilous, and yet it doesn't. And you could argue that it's
Yeah.
because it's the first level, and the first level should be relatively straightforward. But I think if you're presenting just one level, then you have to make sure that that level does demonstrate all of those things.
Yeah.
But still, I think it does clearly rise. So that does take us through tutorial, which I think we've both talked about a little bit already. So a good for the tutorial would be gradual explanation of gameplay and controls fully aligned with play. And I think that is the case, right? So you get to move, you get to jump over the pit, you've got the double jump introduced.
And then
you've
also
got the button is sort of presented here, and you're forced to walk over the button.
Yeah, and the water.
And you're forced to go through the water, so that's all good.
And
So
here as
in
well,
fact,
with the cobweb, you're forced to try it and understand.
and
I cannot jump from
over.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, an excellent would be, fully aligned with play and sometimes communicated through level design.
Oh yeah.
And prizeworthy would be fully aligned with play and communicated through level design. And actually, they've done a very good job. I think it's certainly at the excellent level. It's definitely they've definitely tried to communicate it through level design, and mostly they've succeeded, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but I really like the cobwebs, because in the placement of this one, for example, that's just so smart. Like you cannot jump from here, and it's such a small thing, but I don't know, it feels really
nicely
nice.
thought through.
Yeah, exactly.
So the question, I suppose, is it fully communicated through level design, which would be the prizeworthy category? I mean, it feels like, I don't know, it maybe feels like there's a slight lack of complexity. This isn't like an overly simple game, but it's relatively straightforward. So that feels like it limits it slightly. And there are a few things like the button there. Again, it's more information design. I think it's quite difficult to see.
Yeah,
you can't necessarily see what the buttons do. But I think that kind of stops it being, right at the very top. But I do think they've done a good job. They've done a good job. They've clearly thought about it a lot.
Yeah, and
so I think we can put that down as an excellent. Yeah. So that takes us on to the core dynamic.
Oh, okay. What do we think it is? To me, it feels like what was it? The one with the puzzles.
Yeah, like a puzzle or a spatial reasoner.
Spatial reasoning, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Platforming, spatial reasoning.
So I agree, and so in their game notes they say it's spatial reasoning is the core dynamic, and they've done a very good job of that. and there's no real distractions, right?
There's some collection, maybe you could argue, you know, the
Yeah, but
collectibles. But yeah,
what we
it's
said,
not.
so for a good would be a clear core dynamic that is supported by the primary mechanics. So we've
Which is,
got
yeah.
our primary dynamic is the puzzle, and the dynamics are lighting the braziers and collecting the coins, right? So I think that's right. Excellent would be it's supported by an integrated set of mechanics. And I think, again, the problem here is the simplicity starts to be a bit of a problem because the mechanics are integrated, but there's not that many of
Yeah.
them. And praiseworthy, on the other hand, would be and other dynamics. And you're right, there is sort of another dynamic going on because there's the collection dynamic of the braziers, right? You have to effectively light them all, collect them all in order to get through.
And then also the ones that you know, the other ones, the other 3 golden, I guess, coins, whatever you want to
or the
call them.
wool.
Yeah, that's, you know, you don't need to collect them, but you could. So that, you know.
Yeah. So I think actually that I think it probably merits an excellent for core dynamic because they've been very focused. And actually the other dynamics in here support the main dynamic, which is the spatial reasoning, quite well.
Yeah.
The only thing that limits it, I think, is again the simplicity of the game means that it's difficult to show a kind of a broader set of mechanics. And that takes us through to the feedback. So what they said was they said that you couldn't use a jump after falling off a platform. And they were said that when you fell off a platform, you can now use the second jump to try to clear the gap or recover back onto the platform.
Yeah.
Which I think it does make it feel probably a lot more playable, right?
Oh yeah, I've used that quite a few times, and I mean one of their puzzles I think uses that.
Yeah. So I think that's a relatively straightforward thing that they just implemented, but it definitely makes the game better. And they said that their other piece of feedback was which have helped finding the objectives, as it might be difficult for some players to find which objectives they've missed if they're not placed, obviously. So to solve this, we've added a counter to show how many objectives are in the room and how many the player has got already.
Yeah,
and they tried to convey the location of objectives through the level design by either making them visible or making the paths invisible and adding symbols to hidden paths so the player can easily see which buttons they are linked to. So is that what the symbols on the buttons are? Have we missed this?
Oh yeah, let me.
Because the buttons did have a. If we restart, the buttons do have an icon on them, right? So you've got the first one here, for example. So you've got
Let's see. So.
if you look in the middle, there's a symbol in the middle of the gate.
So let me see the other ones now.
So that gate.
Yeah, that's just because of the fire.
But that's got fire on it, so it shows you the fire.
Actually, you do. Yeah, you do have fire. Okay, that's
and
actually.
That one shows you the fire. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, so
a
that's
very
one of the
minor thing that.
Things
Yeah,
so
and and you can see this one
missed...
here.
Yeah.
And this one here.
So that one is the flower, and they match. Yeah. And so I didn't quite get that when we played it, but I think it's a nice touch.
Yeah, maybe if they. Yeah, it could be maybe a bit more visible, but yeah, that's very a nice touch. Yeah.
So in terms of responding to their feedback, a good would be feedback has been addressed and the change has been successful. Whereas an excellent would be the feedback has been interpreted and addressed. So I think it's definitely at the good level.
Yeah.
I think kind of. So I don't know if interpreted and addressed. Well, they've got the counter for the braziers. They've got the maybe halfway to excellent because I think they've got the icons there and they've tried to link together the paths and sort of puts it halfway there. But that's good. So all in all, I think this is a good example of how you can make a relatively straightforward game that does an awful lot right. I mean, it's kind of it's nice to play. It has a very clear tutorial. It has rising pacing. I think the way they've stuck to the dynamic, that's really admirable actually, and they've done a really good job of making it all work. So yeah, good job in all, I think.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. Yeah.
Shall we move on to our next game?
Yeah. Okay.
So our next game is called the Polygon Dead, which is a great name for a game.
Yeah, let's start.
Yeah, play. Complete the tasks. So your first task is to explore using WASD. Oh, it's a nice environment.
Oh wow, yeah. Okay, WSD, sprint, hold left shift. Okay.
Have you got any camera control, or is the camera just following the character?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the third person camera, and I'm following the character. So take aim, hold right click.
It looks great.
Yeah, fire, aim, and left click. So basically, normal.
Very good.
First person or third person. Yeah.
And I like the tasks coming up.
And
I know
survive.
Survive.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, hang on. Oh, they will come to life.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, follow the gloomy doors.
Follow the gloomy doors.
Oh wow.
Have you only got 13 things of ammo left?
Where? Oh yeah, the
first wave will commence.
Oh.
Oh, here they come.
And reload.
It's like there's zombie bellboys or something.
Yeah.
What is going on there? Wave
no.
1. Are you out of ammo now?
Oh yeah. Oh okay.
Can you?
Yeah, I just press R and it reloads.
So you've got infinite reloads, have you?
Basically, I think. I just have to be careful. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, no. Almost.
Oops. There we go. Oh, they're still coming.
Yeah, that's
still on wave
very...
1.
Oh no. Oh.
Nope. So occasionally it looks like the camera is going behind that wall a little bit, but I have to say it's mostly behaving.
I mean, I don't really notice it when I'm playing because I'm too concentrated on not getting killed.
Yeah.
Okay, so wave 2, I think that's it.
Wave 2.
Let me.
So do you?
Yeah, let me
there, or
go.
Up here?
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, no.
Ah, okay. Nice.
And there's. Oh no.
So you've got a big plus down the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, that's the health, I assume.
Okay. Yeah, you've just taken that. So, army of zombie bellboys come together.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Come on.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, and
Does it make any difference where you shoot them?
Do you think? I should. Oh wow, that's a lot. Come on, reload. Oh, that's a lot
of zombies.
Oh no.
Can you? Yeah. Is it worth going down there again, or are they still coming out of there?
I think
there you go.
Okay. Everything is in front of me, I hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing behind me. Reload.
So even in the corridor, the camera's working quite well. So I'm wondering whether you can progress.
Without killing them.
Because.
I mean, wow, that's a big level. That's a lot of.
Yeah, it's a lot of space, isn't it? So is there a chest down there? Did I see? Can you?
Oh yeah, that's yeah. What is? Does that? No, it doesn't heal me.
Heal you?
Oh. no, 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 no,
oh.
no, no. Can
Maybe
I?
you should.
Okay.
Maybe you should kill all the zombies and then we can explore.
I mean, yeah. I hope it doesn't start a third wave immediately then.
That's true. Well, the
But
last one
that's
you
a
had to open the door,
very,
didn't you?
yeah, very big level.
It's a big level. There's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, it looks fabulous, I have to say. It looks really nice.
Oh no, it's the okay. I thought that's a dead end. And the last
You
one.
reload while you're running.
Oh, okay. There
Wave
was
3. There's a
someone
chest down there in
this.
front of you. Do you want to go and have a look at the chest before the next wave comes?
Yeah, I think I have to go through that thing.
Oh, that thing over there.
Yeah, which is probably
But-
yeah a door in
Look at the
here.
chest.
Yeah.
So, okay, but you've got chests and
Oh.
crates. Do they?
What
So, well, that looks like the.
is he? Oh, okay.
Oh, it's
I guess
funny
the
game,
wave
isn't it?
immediately
Yeah.
started.
Okay. So I still want to know whether you can do anything with the chests.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They're just decorative.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's.
Okay.
No,
So
I think
they
they're.
must have. So whatever assets they found for this, they must have been part of the asset pack, and they've.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay, I
Yeah. Well, let's.
I think I'm dead.
Well, let's start talking about this, right? So, in terms of presentation, I think the graphics look fabulous. Really nicely done, nice atmospheric effects, good animations.
Yeah.
Really nice, actually. Really nice. I would describe the
Oh, no.
graphics as up at the kind of impactful level, right?
Yeah. And I guess
maybe
the name of the
memorable.
game makes sense, you know, Polygon.
Yeah,
The Polygon Dead.
but yeah, really nice looking. Sound. So you've got sound effects.
Yeah. There's sound effects. There's like suspenseful music
music.
at points.
Yeah.
You know,
So
when you
again,
get hit. Yeah.
So I think again that's probably up at the impactful level. Information design. So there's some clear bits of that, right? So you've got the wave is very clearly displayed in the upper left-hand corner. That's very good, and your ammo is also quite clearly displayed. Although, what's it like with it being off down in the right-hand corner? Because you're looking at the center of the screen all the time, right?
Yeah. It is a bit like I can glance at it, and I do that, but in most cases I shoot a bit, then move and reload, and it doesn't.
I wonder whether something on the HUD or something would have on the crosshairs would have.
Yeah.
Better.
I was thinking that as well. Yeah.
And I'm not seeing because you haven't died yet. Your health has gone orange, which is good as it goes down. That's very clear. But again, I'm wondering there's no kind of what you're looking at is the model, and there's no marks on the model.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
wondering if
that's
changing
true.
at all. So I think the information design is somewhere between workable and professional, right? It's kind of I think they're missing some tricks in terms of where to put key information, but it's all there and it's all working, and you can clearly see when you hit because they react really clearly, and you get this I don't know, sparks fly off them. I don't know what they're made of.
Yeah.
Goo, possibly. Is it goo? Who knows? But I think overall the presentation is up there at the impactful level, excellent. I think they've done a really nice job.
Well, that doesn't hear me.
What does that do? Anything?
I don't think so. Oh. Let
So
me open the door.
In fact, I'm wondering whether this actually might be one of the problems here. Is they've got various things in the level that feel like they should be doing things. Oh,
yeah.
look how good this looks. But unfortunately, yes, they've got some really lovely elements to this, but by putting them in here, like there's a ladder there. Can you climb the ladder, for example?
No, I don't think I could. I tried.
So I think that's a bit of a problem, right? Because you're putting in all these cues, and yes, it looks great, but if the ladder's there, it implies you can climb the ladder. If there's a chest there, it implies you can open the chest. If there's a glowy portal, it implies you can stand in it and it will do something to you. I'm sort of amazed they didn't make that heal you or do something to you.
Yeah, that feels
I
like
guess I guess that might not be quite the genre they're going for, but all right. Well, let's talk about meaningful play. Would you describe it as playable, engaging, fun? Where would you pitch it?
Oh yeah, it's definitely engaging. The difficulty is quite, or at least the waves just keep coming, and it feels good. Although it feels like there is something missing.
Is it the kind of that the mechanics are quite limited? Because you've only got one weapon.
Yeah, maybe that. I think that's
shooting and reloading, and that's it. You know.
Yeah. I think that's. Yeah, it's basically just one gun and one type of shooting, and it works. You know, it definitely works.
So it depends what they were going for. If they were going for destruction.
Yeah, then
you'd have thought, you know, put some interesting traps, put some new weapons. You know, you as the waves come on, you want to get more powerful, and that's part of the fun, right? Is
yeah.
And if they were going for more survival,
then limited ammo, stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff where you actually find that ammo, places where you could hide possibly when you ran out of ammo, so you were, you know, you weren't just shooting and reloading all the time. But I still think, you know, you said it was quite engaging. Yeah, so I mean, that's at the good level, and it does say multiple mechanics, smooth controls, and reasonable complexity. And I think that the challenge here is the complexity.
Oh, okay.
But are you gonna die?
Probably.
But I still think it's engaging. I still think you're playing, you're fully engaged with it. I think it kind of fits at that good level. So here we go with goals, risks, and rewards again, which does catch people out. Do you see any different? I mean, let's talk about goals. You kind of know what your goal is. That's quite clear. It says survive as long as possible. So,
yeah.
And I guess that emphasizes the, or perhaps says that they're going for the survival aspect. Although I noticed that they don't give you any feedback on either how many zombies you've killed, which would be good for destruction, or how long you survived, which would have been good for survival. Right?
Yeah.
I guess you got the waves.
I mean, the wave, yeah, that could be.
Yeah. But yeah, so the goal is relatively clear. What about the risks and rewards, though? What are the risks and rewards here?
It feels like there is a built-in risk and reward of, do I go up the stairs and risk getting cornered, or do I try to go past them quickly in hopes of not getting hit? And it definitely has made me think about where to go and should I go there. So there's definitely, you know,
there's some risks. Level built into the moving around the level.
Yeah, exactly.
But not really anything else. And so again, maybe this is the problem with the, you know, you need some other mechanic to kind of to give you that. So for example, you know, the obvious one would have been if you'd well, again, so you maybe don't want people to upgrade the weapons if you're going for survival. But if you were going for survival, maybe you should have the ammo thing going on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
In which case you kind of, you know, you want to resort to a baseball bat or a crowbar or something, because you're as your kind of weapon that never runs out. But then once you've got that, you could then have ammo as being the reward for some of these risky maneuvers. So it's, do you go into some of these spaces where you could get cornered in order to get more ammo? You know, that you're not making those judgments is the problem. So I think it's a little bit limited. So pass would be a limited set of goals, risks, and rewards. Satisfactory would be coherent, and good would be clear and coherent. And I think there are some through the level, but I wouldn't say it's quite got to the satisfactory level. It feels more like the pass level, in a relatively limited set. Maybe nudge it up a bit because your goal is so obvious. Sort of put it halfway up to satisfactory. How about pacing?
Oh, that's, I think, a bit of a... Feels like too many zombies too quickly, maybe.
Oh, really? Sort of escalated quite hard.
And then, you know... yeah, it feels... I don't know, it feels strange because I can imagine with a few tweaks it can feel much nicer to play, because, like, yeah, it feels like suddenly there's, you know, too many zombies like this, but then it's me just going a bit in front, shooting, and then going back and then shooting again, and then going back and shooting again, and reloading maybe.
Yeah. I think you've got some though, right? So you started off in that one room, and they were coming through.
Oh yeah. There is spacing with the waves.
That was a nice start. And then you had the second wave, which is where you are now. So there's built-in pacing, but it feels like maybe they should have linked it more with the reveal of the level.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like, you know, it's missing like an intermediate bit where you've got a bit more space to run around and you've got some steps and things.
I think it's...
level of zombies.
I think my problem was that once the wave starts, it starts immediately. And the first time, I think we didn't even open this door and the wave was still going on. So it doesn't let you... Yeah, it doesn't let you look at the level first. Explore it a bit.
Space.
Yeah. But now after I've played it once, I know what to do and where to go, so it feels... But as a first playthrough, yeah.
So, pass would be tension somewhat rises over time. Definitely gets there, right? Just from the way that they reveal and they have the multiple waves.
Yeah.
Satisfactory would be that it clearly rises over time. And good would be it rises over time in a coherent pattern. I mean, you do open up this new section. You've got the library, I guess. But again, I'm kind of missing the coherent pattern bit. And like you said, you know, if you'd had those slight rests between waves, slight recovery time.
Yeah, that would be nice to...
And again,
because currently the way I did it is just not kill the last zombie and just explore around.
Yeah. Which, you know, is a strategy. I mean, in fairness, that's
True, yeah.
But again, I think maybe this is one of those things where not having some other mechanics is a problem, because those are the things you could be doing in your downtime, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, if you clear the wave and now you can go around and pick up a few bits of ammo and things that or a health or something that lets you survive the next wave, right? Before you make your way through, and it just gives you that would be the coherent pattern, you know, kind of like some intensity, fighting the zombies, bit of downtime, recoup, fight more zombies, bit more downtime, recoup. Oh, it's exciting.
Oh,
you fell off.
I fell. Yeah, I didn't see that.
So I think it's probably at the satisfactory level, but it rises over time. Clearly does that with the waves. Tutorial. So.
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah.
You kind of just zip through it, but it does a pretty decent job, right? You kind of
just move around.
It introduces all the stuff, gives you the tasks.
And again, it doesn't give you
Oh, it's
100
not.
zombies at the first, as a start.
No.
It just gives you 3.
So I think satisfactory would be gradual explanation of gameplay and controls, somewhat aligned with play, and that feels about right, because it's getting you to go through the steps, but having gone through the steps, it then just throws you into the game. Whereas fully aligned with play would be, it would reveal things as you got more into the level, and again it comes down to the mechanics, right? Because there's only 2 mechanics, which is shooting and reloading, there's nothing else to explain to you. So then they're not able to demonstrate it through the level. So if there were things you could use in the level, so for a common thing in a survival game would be having somewhere to hide, right? So if this had if you could hide in a crate or hide somewhere, and the zombies would wander off, that would give you something to explain here, but it's missing. So I think they've kind of limited their ability to tutorialize because of the simplicity of the game itself. But I think they've definitely got a tutorial. It definitely works. I think it's satisfactory.
It taught me everything that I needed to know.
So that takes us on to the core dynamic, and we already talked about that a bit. So which one do you think they were going for? Do you think they're going for destruction, or do you think they're going for survival?
I don't think it. It feels like it has elements of both. That's the thing, because it feels like survival because not because there's limited resources, but because there's a lot of waves, and I really am trying to not get hit and survive as long as possible. But then it's infinite ammo, so it feels like I want to kill them all and destroy all the zombies. And it feels like maybe a bit more survival than
I think that's a very fair appraisal. So they've said it is survival. I've just had a look at their game notes. So in order to progress the next wave, the players use their rifle to eliminate every zombie in the current wave, incorporating the core dynamic of survival. So I think in some ways they've done quite a good job, because I think there were traps that they could have fallen into here, like putting in alternative weapons, and powering up the player, that I think would have made it much more destruction. So I think they've done a really good job of avoiding the problems. What they perhaps haven't done is lent into survival as fully as they could have done.
Yeah.
And you can tell that by the infinite reloads, for example. And the only mechanic you have is a destruction mechanic. Whereas, as I said, in a survival game, you might want to have some other survival things going on. So the simple ones would be hiding. Another one might be crafting new things, or building traps or something that kind of. But so I think they've kind of avoided destruction, but perhaps could have done a bit more to lean into it. So satisfactory would be a clear core dynamic that is partially supported by the primary mechanics. Good would be a clear core dynamic that is supported by the primary mechanics. And excellent would be a clear core dynamic that is supported by an integrated set of mechanics. And I think the problem here is they haven't got an integrated set of mechanics. And the mechanics that they have got, well, I don't know, the infinite reload is what's bothering me, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Because that gives me vibes of, destruction. Destroy as much as you want because you have infinite ammo.
Yeah. So maybe it's halfway between there. It's kind of it's slightly better than partially supported, because I think they've done quite a good job of. You are running away a lot. You are kind of fighting off the zombie hordes. You definitely get that, but because of that, it doesn't quite make it up to having a. It's not fully supported by those. So that takes us to feedback. So they've written a fair amount in their game notes. So let me have a little look and see what they said. So they said in the first lab they got feedback that they should import animations to the player and zombies instead of creating them themselves, because that would save them time. We followed their advice and made use of different tools to import animations into Unity. So it's a very simple piece of advice, but it's worked well. They've clearly looks great, and
yeah, all the
clearly
animations.
they've not spent loads of time on it, so that's good. They said prior to the second lab, we had a feature that allowed players to cancel the reloading their rifle by aiming the rifle. But they said we should remove this feature as it could mislead players into thinking their rifle is reloaded in case they accidentally aim their rifle while reloading it. So they removed it. Okay, so that's just a case of making the gameplay a little bit smoother.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can imagine that would catch you out a lot, I think. And then in the third lab, they said they should make it more evident that the first wave had commenced once the tutorial's been completed, as players could be unaware of it. So they made it so that once the tutorial is completed, the text is displayed and actively it's starting. And we were told it was difficult to figure out. You had to progress through the doors at specific points to get to different rooms. And we solved this problem making a loud alarm sound when the door has been unlocked, and by making the doors glow through walls when openable, so that players can navigate to them in precision. So that's the floating polygon that you saw in front of that door.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I mean, to me that feels like relatively straightforward feedback that sort of tidies up the game and makes it more playable. But they do seem to have implemented it, and it seems to have worked.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a good would be feedback has been addressed, the changes have been successful. I think they're definitely there. Has the feedback been interpreted and addressed?
It feels, yeah.
I mean, in a very straightforward way. That's the thing. It's relatively simple what they've done, but it has worked. Yeah. So for me, I think probably at the good level, feedback has been addressed. The changes have been successful.
Yeah, that sounds.
Done a good job. Nice. Yeah. So overall, I think this is a really nice looking, playable game. And I think if there's a problem with it, I would say that it's the fact that you've got such a simple set of things you can do as a player. It's made it difficult for them to do some of the other things we asked for. So quite difficult to have control the pacing, quite difficult to have a tutorial that reveals as you play, right? So those things have kind of limited what they can do with the game. But you can't fault the way it looks and the way it plays. Very nicely done.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on to our next game.
Yeah, let's move on.
So our last game is called Exploding Fish.
And immediately we are greeted with
Okay.
this. Okay. I'm trying to move around with WSD.
Is it doing anything?
Doesn't look like it. Okay, that's strange.
So you've got no controls at all?
Yeah, I'm trying WASD. Shift, no. Space, arrow keys.
Nothing?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay. So I know there were some issues with the handling for this one, so we do have another version of the game. So I suggest we pause at this point. Right, so we have restarted the game in the Unity editor, and that seems to be getting us a much better experience. So we're going to try and carry on from here.
Yep.
So for a start, it's launched us into a title screen.
Okay,
yeah. There we are.
Title screen.
Make a real splash with thrills and gifts.
Okay.
Very good. Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
And now we've got. And now we can move around. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So you use WSD. That works.
There's an arrow pointing up screen. Mushrooms give you a boost.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh yeah. That's a small. Press space to jump.
Press space to jump.
Okay.
Right. So what do the mushrooms do?
They boost you a bit. So I'm slow now and then.
Speed,
yeah, and just for a bit. Focus make you jump higher. Huh?
But if you hit a fox.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. It does. And you can see my outline is also
Yeah.
green.
You can see the height. Yeah.
Oh wait, why do I?
And frogs push you back.
Yeah, okay. And frogs push you back. Let's see. Ah, I see.
Okay.
And there's like a sound effect if you, I don't know. Yeah.
And reeds slow you down. There's going to be a
That
test
makes
at the end of
sense.
this.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, yeah, it does work. And what if I am quick and then slow? Oh, okay, that bugged a bit, but okay.
Okay.
So for now, walking a bit.
That looks
and...
like press
Oh,
enter to throw. Oh, you got
oh,
your
I
fish.
have to. The fish with the dynamite.
Oh, it's got a fish.
Yeah.
Good job. No, go against the timer. All right,
Oh no.
okay.
Oh,
So
the
it's a
timer
game
for
where you have an exploding fish and you have to run with it to the sea and check it in.
Yeah. Here's the
That makes
timer.
sense.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite genres.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I see.
And you've got a nice big timer in the top left-hand corner, so you have a minute to do this run.
Yeah.
And presumably avoid the
Try
frogs.
not to hit. Yeah.
You've got to try and remember what everything does.
Yeah.
Go. So yeah. So
Then
the foxes make you jump, so you could jump over the frogs, presumably.
Yeah, and the.
So you can't.
reeds.
Can you not jump over the reeds normally? But the fox
I
presumably
don't
does
think
let you
so.
jump over the reed?
Yeah. When you can't.
Yeah.
Oh no. Come on. It's
I'm kind of wondering at the hillbilly music is.
the banjo. Yeah.
Okay.
Enter.
There you go, chuck it in. Well done. 11 seconds ago. That's not a sea, that's a pond, isn't it? All right. You finished the level with...
Oh,
okay, good. I like that.
So now, next level. And it's... Okay, it looks different.
So
I
you've
am
got
very...
Slightly more time.
I really want to try to press enter to throw the fish just here to see what happens, but...
We'll give it a go. See what happens.
Okay, nothing happens. So it's just for the end of the level then. Okay, try to dodge. Oh.
So is the music getting faster?
Maybe. Oh, there's a boost. Come on.
I quite like that. That's quite nice.
Oh. Come on, I think... Oh wow, no. I think we are...
So you're definitely getting a lot more stuff going on.
Yeah, 9 seconds. Oh.
7.
Oh no,
Oh, there's the line. Throw that fish. Oh, do you know what? I sort of want you to not make it, because I want to see what happens when the fish explodes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Congratulations,
you completed exploding fish. We had a blast. I like the tone of this. This is very nice.
Yeah, it's.
Okay, so should we? So
yeah, we can. The tutorial.
Tutorial though, so we need to do the tutorial. Well, perhaps when we're doing that, we can start talking about the mark scheme.
Yeah.
Starting with the presentation. So that's kind of graphics, audio, the information design, and everything. What do we think? So graphics are straightforward but effective. The obstacles. I'm looking at the graphic style. It's mostly kind of like this blocky 3D effect. Is that also the case with the foxes and the frogs, or are they different?
Oh, yeah. I'll have to...
We will find out.
On the next level. I mean,
I like the transitions as well, that's nice.
It's really...
So that's nicely done. I think they are. I think they've gone... It's a relatively consistent style throughout, right?
Yeah, like low poly... Yeah, the foxes are also low poly as well.
It's just they're outlined. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the graphics are pretty nice, and the music is well, let's be honest, it's completely insane. But it kind of works for the type of game that it is. It's thematic. It speeds up. Any sound effects?
Oh yeah. When you hit the frogs, for example, when you.
Oh yes, we had the ribbit, didn't we? Yeah, I can hear that. I think
anything else I don't. Does the fox make?
So I think graphics and audio are definitely up at the sort of professional, right? Which is the good sort of level. What about the information design? So there's not a whole lot of information to give you, I guess.
Yeah.
So you've got feedback if you hit the creatures, which is good. You've got the sound feedback.
Yeah.
You've got the timer is definitely nice. I like the fact they've got both the
that was very nice.
I like the fact they've got both the counter and the circle that gradually fills. Right? I think that's good, and it kind of means that, and it's nice and big, right? There's no messing about. So you've always got a kind of a sense in your peripheral vision about how it's going. All the obstacles are pretty clearly outlined. The things that affect you are surrounded by an actual outline.
Yeah.
So the frogs, the reeds, so there's definitely some stuff going on. So I think for me, I would say it's at the professional level, complete and effective. Maybe it's missing some of the polish that would need it to go up to the next level, just in terms of effects, in terms of some of the transitions and other elements. But in general, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
So let's talk about the play. How would you describe it? Playable, engaging, or fun?
Yeah, it is. So it's definitely playable. It is engaging, and especially with the timer, making you feel like you have to be quick.
Yeah.
And the controls, they are a bit floaty, maybe, or not floaty, but it does feel a bit not as good as it could be, but it's definitely
playable. Is it a bit floaty, or
for example, if I want to jump here, you see I thought I jumped in time, but it jumped a bit later and I hit the reeds and got slower. So stuff like that. So a game like this has to be a little bit forgiving, I think, and it has to be quite crisp, doesn't it, with the controls Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But still, I mean, I think, engaging, it sounds like it's at the engaging level. Kind of quite, you're definitely concentrating on it. I can tell that because of the way you're speaking.
Yeah.
So let's go on and talk about level design. So that's goals, risks, rewards, pacing, and the tutorial. Let's start off with goals, risks, and rewards. So, is your goal outlined at the beginning?
At the beginning.
Do you know what you have to do?
Well, there. Yeah, I guess there is.
The tutorial explains that, I suppose.
Yeah, or the tutorial doesn't necessarily tell you that the fish is going to explode. And it's the first level that shows you the timer where you realize, I have to be quick.
Okay, but the goal's relatively straightforward, isn't it?
You don't really have a lot to. Yeah.
No. What about risk and rewards?
There is that's interesting because there is for this level design you can see. Here I can be like, okay, I can either take the fox power up and try to jump over them, or go around and be sure to not hit them.
Yeah.
So there is stuff like that in the level design where I have to think, do I want to try this or do I just try to go through?
So the risk, so the reward essentially is a cleaner, straighter run. The risk is that you mess it up and then it delays you. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that's fairly clear.
And for example, on this level, the second level, there's like this thing here, if I remember. There was like this here. You see here, it's like, should I go through here and get the fox power up, or do I go, around it and not get it?
Get the mushrooms, yeah. So, okay. So I think that, satisfactory would be a coherent set of goals, risks, and rewards. And I think that's what you definitely got. So good is a clear and coherent set. And excellent is a clear, coherent, and well-balanced set. It feels to me like it's a little bit too reliant on those little set pieces to be excellent. But would you say it's clear and coherent? Would you say that those choices are obvious to you, that that's what's going on, and that you're making a decision when you get to them?
Yeah, I think so. It definitely gives you, like, you can see, there's multiple ways I can go, and each way has, different things for it, and I actually have a choice of, do I want the other power up or this one?
So in that case, I think we can say that it's at the good level for that. Pacing and the difficulty over time. So it looks like you've clearly got some progression between the different levels. Obviously the tutorial level, and then the second level looks like it's harder than the third level.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the pacing?
So for... Yeah, the tutorial is... first off, the tutorial doesn't have the timer, so the pacing is already a bit, easy for a first level and, tutorializing everything, so that's good. And then for the next levels, it feels like, even though there's 2 levels and they are, different, and I guess the second one is a bit harder, but it doesn't feel that much different. Like, it's still very similar in terms of...
I also wondered, do you think the start of the level, do you think the start of level 3 is easier than the end of level 2? Because that would be quite nice to sort of overlap them and give you that breather between levels to kind of readjust or whatever. Do you feel that that's the case?
Oh, I don't remember, but...
So which one are we in now? This is level...
So that's after the level after the tutorial.
Yeah, I don't know. So you go... Yeah, so you go straight into some tougher bits.
Yeah, and then... there is pacing. It's not like everything,
it's just
all the hard stuff
maybe,
at once.
Maybe it's not quite as coherent as we'd like. There's kind of less structure to it, or... Yeah.
Yeah.
So satisfactory would be that tension clearly rises over time. I think it is there. But yeah, maybe it just feels like it's not quite as what's the phrase? It's not as well thought through, or it's not as well considered for the...
Oh yeah, I guess okay. There is the first level, it is a bit easier and has a lot easier obstacles.
Yeah, okay.
Than the second one, but again, yeah, as you said, it's not that different.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's ramping up in a noticeable way, right?
Yeah.
That there are things that you're not facing before. It's the configurations of the things you've already seen become a little bit more difficult. And I think that might be because they've introduced everything in the tutorial.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, I think what they probably would have been better off doing is having more levels, and then just introducing the things a bit more gradually. So it's like, this is the first level with the frogs, right? Or this is the first level with the foxes, maybe. That gives you then the option, So okay, so I think that puts it at the sort of satisfactory level. The tutorial at the beginning.
Yeah.
So you did have quite a nice tutorial level that gradually introduced the various bits. So you've got the kind of use WAS to move around. You've got the mushroom to give you a boost. Space to jump, and the level is giving you the things to use those as you find them. And then foxes make you jump higher.
And it gives you the freedom to test them.
But at the other hand, it also, like we were just saying, it kind of feels like it's all given to you up front in this tutorial level and not integrated into the whole game, kind of as you read it. And also they're giving you examples of how to use it, but they're not really communicating it through level design, I don't think. Right, so a good would be a gradual explanation of gameplay and controls fully aligned with play, and satisfactory would be gradual explanation of gameplay and controls somewhat aligned with play. And because everything is in that initial tutorial level, it feels it's closer towards satisfactory than it is to good.
Yeah.
And it's giving you the instructions, which is fine, and they're revealing it as you go. So maybe sort of halfway between the two, because within that first level, it's gradually revealed to you.
Yeah, and I guess you can also say that the design of the levels, of the next few levels, also in a way introduce you to some different variations of enemies and obstacles where you can think, oh, okay, there's like a whole row of reeds and there's a fox, so I can try to jump. So it's not just that.
I think maybe one of the problems they have here is they've actually, if you think about the mechanics they've got some interesting, they've got a reasonable number of things, right? So you've got the mushrooms, you've got the frogs, you've got the foxes, and you've got the reeds, and you've got the rocks, right?
Yeah.
The problem they've got, this is the complexity versus depth argument, is that those things don't interact very much, right?
Yeah.
So they all have an individual effect. The one that does is the foxes and the reeds, right? Because the fox gives you an opportunity to miss the reeds. And that's where a lot of the value has come from in terms of things like the goals, risks, and rewards. And I wonder whether the problem here is that they've not thought enough about how the different elements interact with one another.
That's true. There is, as you said, there's some semblance of the reeds and the foxes really complement each other, and then it could be more like different.
So I'm trying to think of how you might get that working here, but it might be. I'm trying to think what an example would be, but you kind of, obviously you're trying to avoid the frogs, but there's no. How could it work?
I mean, you can also jump over them as well, and it's easier with the fox high jump.
Yeah, but you kind of want something like, I don't know. So an example would be, imagine that the idea with this is that you're going faster and faster, right? So as the level progresses, you speed up and up and up and up. But there are some obstacles where your speed becomes a problem. In which case, you would then instead of slowing you down, you would then start to use the frogs to strategically slow you down to enable you to do some of the other obstacles, right? So that's the kind of thing, and it's hard to imagine how the existing set of things would go together, but that's what you kind of want to do with a game like this. Is you want to say, right, I've come up with the frog which slows you down. What can I add into the game that interacts with that in some interesting way? Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's maybe the problem, but nevertheless, I think kind of in terms of teaching you back to the criteria, in terms of teaching the mechanics that they have got, I think it's doing a reasonable job. So that takes us on to the core dynamic. Do you want to have a guess at what they said?
I think it's race against the clock. or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, they've got race to the end.
Race to the end. Yeah, that's the one.
Which in this case is against the clock, but yeah, that's fine. And they said you've got to make it to the lake before the timer runs out.
Yeah.
And there are other elements of the game, such as power-ups, but they all affect the end goal of racing to the lake. When they say power-ups, do they think they mean obstacles?
Well, power-ups like the mushroom and the fox, I suppose.
The mushroom, yeah, the mushroom speeds you up. Okay.
The boost, yeah.
So I think they're right. I think it is definitely a race mechanic. And again, I think that they've while they have some elements in here like collection, those elements do exist to help you race to the end, right? And they also have, to a certain extent, some sort of puzzle elements, because you might want to figure out how best to use the foxes to jump over the region. But again, that's in service to the rest of the race to the end. But they're quite slight, right? They're kind of there's not a huge amount there, but it is in the right direction. So a good would be a clear core dynamic that is supported by the primary mechanics. And I think it's there. An excellent would be it's supported by an integrated set of mechanics, right? And then the prizeworthy is up with the supporting supporting dynamics. I think again the problem is the simplicity means that the set of mechanics is not quite there.
Yeah.
But you do have flashes of where they're using the core dynamic to support it. So I'd say maybe halfway between good and excellent. Feels like they're definitely on the right track, right? They're doing the right things. It's just maybe they haven't developed some of those other dynamics quite fully enough. And they haven't quite got an integrated set of mechanics that pulls you in the right direction. But so lastly then, we get on to feedback. So they said they had 2 items of feedback. The first was to make the information design of the game better, particularly when informing the user if the character they meet is good or bad. And they've done that by adding a glowing outline. So a red is bad and a green is good.
Okay.
So I noticed the outlines, but I didn't necessarily notice the colours coding, I have to say.
So the mushroom is yellow, for example. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, so
blue?
The ones that give you a power-up are, for example, blue and yellow, but the frogs are red, and the reeds are also red. So that's... Oh yeah, those are bad.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges though is the fox actually a good thing? It's sort of more of a neutral thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think this is maybe. I mean, partly this is because it's quite a surreal game, right? So, but because it's a surreal game, it's not necessarily obvious what the things do. So, like, if the foxes were ramps, right, it would be.
Yeah.
Because it's a fox, it's like okay. So, but yeah, all right. So that's kind of worked, but I don't know if it's quite had the impact they wanted. And then the second bit of feedback was to make the core dynamic clearer. And a particular, if the user's goal is to collect as many power-ups as possible or get to the end fastest. And we've made sure of this by making sure all interactions with character power-ups serve no other purpose to affect how quickly the player make it to the end. And we've made a clear time on the screen and an arrow to let the player know they should try to move forwards. I don't know if that was actually a problem, really. Maybe it was before. We don't know what they stripped out.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, well, we certainly said, the core dynamic is all pointing in the right direction. So my feeling is that well, a satisfactory would be the feedback was addressed and the changes have been somewhat successful. And it feels maybe at that level because they clearly made some changes to the game and result of that feedback. We think that may have been successful, but I'm less convinced about the outlines. But I mean, it is definitely true the core dynamic is nice and clear.
Yeah.
So I think that probably puts a satisfactory level. What do you think of this game overall? You're the one who's been playing it. What's your feeling?
It's fun. It's again, it's one of those things where with a bit more polish, it can really shine and work really well and be fun. And an interesting thing is that the more I've played the game, I noticed before, it becomes laggier and laggier. But you know, that's so I have to restart it for it to go back to smooth. But you know, it's a nice game.
I think it's got some nice polish, right? They've clearly thought about it. So it looks great. I think they've done all the right things. They've clearly got the sort of tutorial element in there. They've thought about the core dynamic. You know, they've done a good job. I think the problem here is that that integration of the mechanics, basically. And if the mechanics had worked with each other a little bit better, you know, the different things interacted in different ways, I think that would enable you to do a bit more with the level design. If you're doing a bit more with the level design, that would improve your pacing. It might give you a more of a reason to do a bit more of an integrated tutorial. So I don't think it's the size of the game, but maybe the sophistication of the design. But yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of it's a nicely conceived game with all the right bits, basically.
Yeah, the story of the game is really fun. You know, you have an exploding fish and you have to throw it in the. Yeah.
Very good. Right. Okay. I think that is the last game for this Let's Play. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.